Investing in DeFi, tokens versus equity.
Good evening, Malta. Let's please start with a round of applause for the government of Malta, Emmanuel's AABC squad, and for you because you are in the room and not sipping a margarita on the beach, for the commitment to advance into the DeFi world. Let's please some applauses, please. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dustin Plantholt. I am the Forbes Monaco editor for crypto. I also have an advisory practice where I talk to people around the world to kind of figure out what they're looking for in companies to invest in. And then I advise a number of crypto projects, and I have one as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Remy Osken. I'm the president of French Blockchain Federation, but also managing director of Crypto for All, which is a blockchain engineering company which help you to build your products. And we have one of our products, which is called TOZEX, which is a tokenization platform.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marco Pagnini. I'm Senior Investment Manager at Swissborg. We are a company, crypto company focused on crypto wealth management. And we focus on bringing people, bridging the gap between crypto, fiat and crypto, and allowing them to take control of their financial assets, promoting a more democratized approach towards wealth management.
All right, so here's how it's going to work. As the moderator for this particular venue, I'm going to be giving each person a little bit of time after I ask them a question. We have about 14 minutes. We're going to keep to the time. So my first question, my gentleman to the right, is this. In the space, there are, one to say thousands of projects to look at, and there's only so much time. So when you're doing your research, what are you looking for?
Hello, everybody. My name is Adrian Niculescu. Will not say more than that. You can find me on LinkedIn. The panel is all about the contribution. When analyzing a project, I'm looking at three things. And I'm in this space since 2016, and these three things didn't change. And they served me very well. First, I'm looking at the team. If the team is good, and I'm a little bit of workaholic, so I'm looking for like-minded people who are working on weekends, who are, struggling to develop. So if the people are experienced, if they failed in other ethical projects, if they are pushing things further, if they are entrepreneurs or marketers, even if the project may fail, they will find a way to make it happen. So I'm looking at the team. The second thing I'm looking at is if there is any technological innovation. Because in crypto, in blockchain, in post-blockchain, in DeFi space, things are based on technological innovation. So I'm looking more at coins than tokens because the coins have their own infrastructure, but also at tokens if they have a certain platform, a certain business model. And the third thing, if there is potential for mass adoption. Because after more than 10 years with Bitcoin, still you can't buy a coffee with Bitcoin everywhere, right? So still there isn't a global adopted crypto or digital currency. And it can be an adoption in a niche, like gaming, for example, or in other. And these three elements are my base of due diligence.
So I like what you've pointed out here, and I want everybody to take this note. Teams, who are the people that are behind these projects? Some of them are anonymous. On the other side is the project uncommon? Meaning, how different is it than other projects out there?
I didn't hear you well. So could you please repeat what the subject you...
Yeah, so the question is, when you're looking at a project, okay, when you're doing your own research, the old DYOR, because they say in life, if you want happiness, study happiness. You want wealth, study wealth. If you're coming into the DeFi space, you need to study it. So what are you looking for in a project?
So when we take a look on a project, it's based on clear fundamentals. What's the benefit to use blockchain technology? Is this only technology which provides you a way to bring something new? Is there any relevant market for your product? And if the answers are yes, you need to select the best protocol which provide the best answers to your needs. And we have just to be focused because a lot of people think about blockchain-based company are so different from traditional companies. In fact, it's not totally right. In EA, in artificial intelligence, it's exactly the same thinking we have too. Is this providing something added value versus your current competitors on a specific market?
So I like that. What we heard was technology. You know, what is the technology behind the particular project? Because it is important. Because when we look at the 6,000, 7,000 different chains out there and growing, and I think all of you know this, not all of them are going to make it. So the last thing you want to do is put your money behind something, potentially a project that is running out of money or that the team could be running out of town.
So I think, first of all, we should clarify one point, if I can continue and elaborate a bit on what we were discussing before. So I think the first question to ask is, what's the value of a project, right? And how can you evaluate? So one way to do it, if you go back to the traditional finance, is just doing fundamental analysis. But those metrics and those models don't work anymore for cryptos or for DeFi projects. So one way to do it is to start to split what it was before a fundamental analysis into functional and technological analysis. So first of all, answer the question, what you're going to use for this token, this project. And in blockchain world, we start to look at on-chain activity. We start to look at what the white paper states for the technology behind these projects. And we start to look at the tokenomics to understand if the financials behind are sound. And like when you put all of this together, you can start building your own models. Either many people, even Vitalik, like build his own model on that. And what's really important to understand is that as for the traditional finance, the statistical model that exists today, you can use VAR, you can use other type of model to evaluate risk, for example, didn't happen from day to night. You know, it takes time to generate those level of standards. And those level of standards were not created by regulators, were created by companies that basically set the standards because they were the most successful. So this is how I think in the future we should look at what's going to happen and how we're going to be able to evaluate a project. Like looking on the blockchain, looking on the fact that this is a technological innovation. This is based on innovation.
You know, so think about that. The valuation aspect, how does, I'm going to use an ultra high net worth investor. What do they look for? What are they looking at? They're looking at the teams. They want to know who's involved. They're doing their research on them. The other aspect is they're looking at the technology, looking at how uncommon they are. And then they want to study the tokenomics. They want to better understand this space because it is young and it is new. I'll tell you, there's an individual out there, not in this audience, but hopefully he's going to be tuning in later, that to me is considered to be the most brilliant investor in the entire digital asset ecosystem. And he's someone that I consider a buddy, is Gene Simmons. And I will tell you there are times that I've sent things to Gene and the questions that he asked are brilliant. Who's the team? What's the tokenomics? How do they become uncommon? And then ultimately, what's the valuation? I mean, how do you decide what something's worth when there isn't 30 years of history, when there's not 60 years, or there's a roadmap that seems to start like this? We're going to help 5 billion people. So how many people know this? There's about 7.5 billion people on the earth. And how many times, to my investors on the stage here, have you heard the word, we're going to help 1 billion people? It happens over and over again. So what I like to look at is, are you looking at a specific niche to start with? Is there a group of people that believe in this? Who are your early adopters? Because if you can't help the people in your backyard, you're not going to help somebody else in their backyard. So now we lead on to the next question, and that is this. When you're looking at a project from your own side to decide how much to invest into it, you know, because some people, they do the FOMO aspect. You know, it's the fear of missing out. If I miss out now, This coiner token could go up 50, 100, and 1,000 times X. So how do you hold yourself back? How do you keep yourself from becoming what most are, speculators, and become a true digital asset investor?
I'm a sales marketing and business development guy. And we marketers, when we analyze the market, we know very well what the target market wants. And we know how to write sales pages, how to write white papers, how to write ebooks. So the people we want to target to believe that what we are offering there is what they want to hear about. And many projects are pitched the same way a shampoo is pitched on TV, you know? So it has to be created a desire, and emotion comes into place, right? And when I'm doing such a decision, I take everything out. I take the emotion out of the picture, and I start analyzing in a very brutal way. And one very important rule, which I want to share with you, when something is out there in social media and everybody talks about it, is usually too late to enter. You can make notes on the project, and what happens usually when a news like that is everywhere, many newcomers are entering in the FOMO space, right? Usually the early people are selling, and it follows the correction. So I'm following that asset, and when there is a correction after that, I'm entering, you know? So because the market is driven by two emotions: greed when the price goes up, and fear when the price goes down. We can speak for days about that.
Yeah,
but
so it's sentiment. I mean, it's the market sentiment that sometimes, or most of the time, is going to drive the action of these tokens or coins.
I think the audience needs to understand one thing. For the first time in history, you are able to finance a product or services without need to have a company behind. That's why DeFi is come. That's why a lot of projects are based on foundation. So it means it's the product as clearly for you a value because of targeted markets is valued like thousands of millions. You can contribute to the success of the product itself without need to rely on the company behind, but only on blockchain technology, which use the true fundamental intrinsic value of blockchain technology, which allows you to trust the technology instead of people or company. For example, with one of our clients, we have decided to tokenize athletes' performance. So we create an asset which its value is based on sports achievement, media engagement, and sponsoring budget he receives. And all of those data are clearly verifying by investors. So as you said just previously, just do your own research. Don't just take a look on the first page of Google, you know, because it's not.
Don't go all in. This space is full of some of the best marketing minds on the planet, whose job is to get in front of you, and whose job, candidly, is to get you to part ways with your hard-earned money.
Yeah, I think also always remember two questions whenever we invest. For example, like two questions that you must have in mind is: what problem does it solve? And if it's not innovative, are they doing it better than somebody else? Because those things are, I mean, look at history. Go back to not that much time ago, look at the internet bubble. Okay, we are in the blockchain or crypto bubble, right? Now, let me ask you a question. If you were an investor and you have $1,000 in 2000, and you look at the newspaper, look at the media, everywhere, they tell you that internet is dead, that email is a non-product, and everyone is going back to fax. So if you were there in the 2000s and you have $1,000, would you invest in a company that was producing fax machine, or would you invest in a email providing company?
I like that, because what it comes down to is a narrow market. You know, when we come in and people pitch to me, I've got this thing that's going to help 1 billion or 2 billion or 3 billion people, I first ask them this question: who are your advisors? What's their experience? I want to know their names. I do my research on people. Then I want to look at who are the team. I mean, are these people qualified to run these projects? And then I look at, well, what sort of compliance do they have built in? What is the technology backing this? Because the last thing I want is a rug pull, which means I need to understand what sort of audits are being done. And then lastly, it goes into, have I done my research or has somebody else done it for me? So for all of you that attended, I want you to thank our panelists up here. Believe it or not, it's very, very nerve-wracking. If you have any questions, we'll be over here on the side. But thank you again for your time, everybody. And hopefully we'll do this again here next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.